BECU is committed to helping you become financially fit. Meet Todd Peach, KISW's financial advisor.
When was the last time you took a look at the asset allocation of your investments? With the recent increases in the stock market, your investments may have behaved differently, with some gaining or losing more than others. This can throw your asset allocation out of balance. If you haven't rebalanced recently, take a closer look to make sure your allocations meet your objectives.
To get more financial advice from Todd, visit KISW.com/BECU.
Hey, this is BJ. Thanks for listening to our show's podcast. If you're a fan of all things geeky, you should check out my other podcast, BJ Shea's Geek Nation. We have new episodes every day, and you can check it out at bjgeeknation.com.
Your driver's license is important so you can get back and forth to work, get your kids to school, and back and forth to daycare. If your license has been suspended because you can't pay your tickets, you can't do any of those things. Let's talk about Chapter 13 bankruptcy. You may have heard that tickets cannot be discharged, but they can be dealt with in a Chapter 13 case. Why not come in for a free consultation? The chapter you choose will make all the difference to your getting back legally on the road. Let's design a plan to pay off your tickets and restore your license immediately. I'm attorney Travis Gagne. Please contact me today at ChooseTheRightChapter.com. That's ChooseTheRightChapter.com.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. A British teenager who was struggling with an essay about an Ian McEwan book didn't get a top grade even after he got help from his father, the actual Ian McEwan. How about this? He got a C+ on a book that his dad wrote, and his dad helped him write the essay on the book.
That's fantastic.
And this is, I guess,
right. He had the easy road. He's like, oh, I got dad on my side. This is going to be a joke.
Yeah, now I don't know much about Ian McEwan, but he's an award-winning British author.
He's an award-winning British author.
Oh, is that, you know that about him.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
He has a son.
Yeah, all right. So I guess a required reading in his son's class was a book called Enduring Love, and it's his dad's book.
He wrote a great book called Enduring Love.
Yeah. Oh, you're really familiar with him. Yeah.
Award-winning.
Yeah. Wow.
With a son.
I can't believe you know about these things.
Everlasting love.
Yeah, it's enduring, but yeah,
Enduring Love is his best work.
Here's the thing. The reason that his kid got the bad grade, or at least the okay grade, was that the teacher didn't agree fundamentally with the ideas put forth about the book. And it was the author who said, here are the ideas you should put forth about my book. And the teacher goes, no, I disagree with that.
I'd pay good money to be at the house when he found out that his son got a C+ on a report about his book that he helped him write.
Oh, I would be so angry.
Right.
I would definitely talk to the teacher and go, so you mean to tell me you know more about my book than I do?
And I bet the teacher, do you think it was maybe like a little bit of a power struggle thing? Like, I'm going to show this guy. He thinks he has all the answers.
I wonder if the teacher's aware of it. I mean, you know what I mean? Because I almost think you can't give that as an assignment. I feel like, you go, no, we're not going to do this because the guy's kid is in the class. I feel like the kid's going to ace it.
Right, like it's cheating.
Yeah, I wonder if that also affected the grade. Maybe he couldn't give him too good of a grade, thinking that maybe because it would be like playing. It's weird. I have never heard of such a thing where the kid in the class, his dad is the subject of the book.
Right.
Like he's the guy that wrote the book.
Apparently there's also a movie that came out in 2004 of this whole thing. So I'm wondering if they just watched the movie and assumed that's what the book was about. The teacher, I mean.
Oh, I was going to say, if the kid was watching the movie,
that would be really bad.
Because sometimes, they think, oh, this is the interpretation, that's the real one, and the teacher bases it off that.
Boy, that's actually the reverse, because that's kind of what they told us not to do, and that's why you had to get the Cliff's Notes, because the teacher would always know the differences in the book between the movie. I remember One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and so I had to get the Cliff's Notes, because everyone says, hey, that teacher, she knows the difference between the movie, and she's going to ask questions that aren't in the movie, but are in the book. You better figure it out. And then Cliff's usually said, here are things in the book that teachers usually ask sometimes that aren't in the movie. I'm like, great.
Oh, text again. Ian McEwan is an award-winning British author, which just texted in.
Is he really?
Yep.
You guys know a lot. Our listeners are well educated.
I don't know if you know this. He has a son as well.
Does he really?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. And what's the book that he's known for?
Enduring Freedom. It's a good book.
Enduring Freedom is a great book.
Yes.
I don't know if it's his, but it's a great book. Yeah.
Well, that's the book we're talking about.
Enduring Love.
Enduring Love.
Yeah,
like I said.
Love is a great book.
It's a great book by
Ian
McClellan.
Ian McClellan, a great artist in his own right, but not, as far as I know, hasn't written too many novels.
I remember when I was a kid, my dad was a math whiz, which is funny because the apple did not fall far from, actually fell very far from
the apple
tree.
was nowhere in the orchard with you.
No, it wasn't even the same state. And so whenever I would take a math test and I'd come home, I know it just crushed him that I was not a very good student when it came to math. And he would help me, and it would annoy me because then he would want to get into detail about things. Because he taught math at NYU. It was a substitute. So whenever they needed somebody, he would pop in and teach. So, dude my dad knew his stuff. So it killed him that I would come home. Big Dad, I got a D. He's like, gosh.
What's wrong with you, kid?
Why couldn't have you gotten at least that gene?
Yeah, you didn't get it.
No.
Now, how's your mom? Is your mom good with math?
No.
Yeah, you know that. I learned that long ago. I study my mate and go, look, I can't be bad at my kids if they don't have this trait.
Honestly, though, I don't know if she was good or bad at math, to be honest with you.
Oh, I bet she is, because if you are, you had to get it from somebody.
But she I think anytime anything had to do with math, she'd talk to your father.
Exactly. Yeah. Because, that means that, you know what that means. That's the nice way of going, I'm a dope, I don't know how to do this. Because that's always what you do. Go talk to your mother or father when you realize that, I don't have that trait.
What subjects were your kids crappy at?
Oh, my God.
Don't say all. We know
Dude,
that.
seriously, I'm trying to think. Sarah was horrible at math. Horrible at math. She just could not get it. Yeah. And I'm trying to think, Joey was just, here's what Joey was. He was crappy at doing stuff that he didn't want to do. Like, it was like if he just didn't want to do it. So it's like he made up a great story about a fictitious uncle in the cooking business, a great chef in Italy, just to basically get the teacher off his back. And you had to do like a paper. So he came up with a great story about it was completely fictitious. And then he never did he never did the entire paper. He just wrote a pre-paper and thought that would be enough, and then said, and then he said he lost it, or the teacher lost it, and the teacher for a while thought they lost Joey's paper, and he figured he'd get out of it.
So he just manipulated his teacher.
Yeah, he said to the teacher, you saw I wrote that great pre-thing, and I turned my paper in. What do you mean you don't have it? And the teacher really was like, really? You think I lost your paper? Yeah, I turned it in. I'm the guy that wrote that. It's my uncle. I had a great story about my uncle in Italy.
Well, why wouldn't they just say, hey, give us another copy of it?
And Joey says, it was one of those things where you paste pasta. Like, it was one of those things you do as a kid that you couldn't do twice, because he made boards and dioramas. So he was like, I made all these things and I did all this. You don't have it? And for a while, they believed him.
Until he kept using it. You can't go to that well all the time.
Yeah, and then, then they finally got to us. And I really told my wife, I said, we've got to show our son, you cannot be this guy. If you're a scammer and get caught, you're going to be in trouble in society. You'll get beat up. And I wanted to basically tell him he couldn't go out for the entire summer.
Well, he scammed his father into giving him a job, even though he's not doing anything.
Yeah, you're right. It's a good point. Yeah, I guess in a way.
Hangs out.
Yeah.
Plans trips to Vegas.
Yeah, that's pretty much it, isn't it? And you know what? And then there's Sarah, who still can't do math. But then she gets her father to take care of all that for her, too. It's a nice life. Anybody want to be my kid? Seems like you're going to have a good life.
I'll pass.
Oh, you're going to pass on that?
Yeah. You don't need another kid.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate you thinking of me.
Yep. Context says, thanks for explaining to everyone what a substitute teacher is, Steve.
You're welcome. Are you surprised that Steve also not that good in math? What's that? Again, could you tell me what a substitute teacher is, Steve? Because I am a little fuzzy.
Aren't around, and they call my dad, and he would show up.
He would do that,
and he would fill in for them. Yeah. Some call it substitute teaching.
Yeah. I have to say I'm a little embarrassed, Texter. I'm glad you picked up the slack, because I really should have beat Steve up for that, and I didn't.
If you didn't stay up late calling into hockey radio shows, you might have been better at math. Very true.
Oh, yeah. Because you really did know your hockey.
I did at the time.
If there was, I will tell you, with Sarah, because she had difficulty learning math, they did find something she was interested in. She went to this different school, and they found things that she was interested in and taught her through that. If they could have taught you math, but used hockey as the way to describe everything, you probably would have learned.
The only subject when it came to math that I excelled at, I'd get like 90s on my exams, was statistics. Because I would utilize that in my fandom for baseball and hockey.
So, got a new poll. We really apparently do think of our car as our personal little bubble, because it turns out pretty much 8 in 10 people who drive to work think of it as me time. Even
like me time?
No, not that kind of me time. No, not that. But 4 in 10 of us really do love being in our car. Something about the fact that, I get it, you get to be alone. There's nobody bothering you. You get to do whatever you want to do. Pick a song, pick the radio station, whatever you want. Mm-hmm. It's all you.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes, the drive home, I'm not always excited about an hour plus commute back home after work, but I get to catch up on things that I wouldn't be able to catch up on.
Yeah.
I watch some of my favorite movies. I play some video games. No, I'm kidding. I just listen to a lot of podcasts.
That's wonderful. Really. You know what? I wouldn't put that past
I would never.
You say that?
Play a video game or watch a movie while driving?
Maybe not a video game, but you know what? I don't know.
I mean, I've had a hockey game on.
Oh, my God.
Not to watch, just to listen to.
But it's been the videos there.
Yeah, but I like the play-by-play guy on the television better than the one that does it on the radio.
Yeah. You know what? The police are not going to appreciate it no matter what.
It's not like I'm staring at the phone. The phone's like down at the bottom of my console
okay.
area.
All right. That makes it better. Because, I mean, some
it's
people...
like I duct taped it to my steering wheel.
Well, some people have TV ability in the car.
No, I don't have that.
Yeah,
I don't even have power windows.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. You got the Jeep. Yeah, I'm surprised your car even has power. So, yeah, so...
It would be a car, but it didn't have power, BJ.
That's right. It would just sort of be like a house. So, yeah, for the most part, people do dig being in their car. Though they say road rage does make it not so blissful for everybody. Yeah, but, you know, if you're on if you're on just an open stretch of road and you're moving, I don't know why I'm upset if I'm not moving, but... Because, I mean, I'm still in the car. I'm still by myself.
I get tired when I'm stuck in traffic. If I'm just driving and there's no traffic, I feel fine.
I know. It's the weirdest thing because if, you know, I don't know, let's just say I'm stuck in traffic for 40 minutes and I get to my destination, or I drive for 40 minutes and get to my destination. Why aren't I happy that I've been in the car for 40 minutes? I don't know why I get so upset, but I'm like you. It pisses me off to be in traffic.
Absolutely. Because you know that you can get there quicker. You're just stuck.
Yeah. Damn. Alrighty, so of course nose picking is one of the big things that people do, by the way, just so you know.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah, so make sure you check that
That's
out.
where I get all my bugs out.
Oh, is that where you get it all done?
Yep.
See, I don't do that anymore because I now know people are looking in cars. And then I also am aware of the fact that...
You're afraid that someone's going to be like, I just saw BJ Shea and he was digging for gold.
Exactly. And truck drivers, too, can see everything, so it's like, I'm going to try to be cool.
What are you doing?
Like I said, I don't pick my nose because for that reason.
Oh, I thought with truck drivers they could look down, so I was wondering what else are you doing?
Oh, well, that I'll still do. I mean, I feel like I'm giving everybody a show at that point.
Somebody says I once saw a dude watching porn on his iPad attached to the dash while stuck in traffic.
There you go.
Oh, my gosh.
See, as a truck driver, you appriciate people like that.
You need better tinted windows.
Everybody gets a show.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
99.9 KISW, The Rock of Seattle. Well, here's the highlight of your day. Someone drove their SUV into a lake to win a bet, and then they got their friend arrested. There you go. Congratulations, everybody.
Best bet ever.
Best bet ever. Oh, yeah. So, 28-year-old by the name of Raimundo was hanging out with some friends at Lake Havasu in Arizona on Saturday. And that's a place where people go to party.
Yes.
So that's a party joint. And his friend made a bet with someone about how far they could drive into the lake without getting their SUV stuck.
Oh, jeez. There's already a recipe for disaster.
It's not clear if Raimundo was was on the other side of the bed or where he was, but he was one of the passengers. And, of course, they did get stuck while their SUV was about halfway submerged. Have no idea how much damage it caused, but the SUV did have to be towed out of the water. The cops did have to show up. And while they were there, they realized that, hey, Raimundo, you're wanted on an outstanding warrant. Congratulations. And they took Raimundo straight to jail. If you're Raimundo, do you not know when the cops are called you need to amspray? I mean, don't you know you got a warrant? Scram in Pig Latin.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Amspray.
Yeah, I mean, don't they know that you got to get the hell out of there? Does he have no idea he has a warrant?
He might have had no idea that he has a warrant. I've heard stories about people that didn't even know until they were like pulled over for a speeding ticket or something like that, and then they find out, well, sir, there's a warrant for your arrest.
Man, that's again just dumb dudes, and then all of a sudden one's gone.
I had a cop buddy that did that. Like he had his buddy pull me over. And they pull me over, and then they're like, well, there's a warrant for you and all this. And I'm like, for what?
Whoa.
And I'm just like, oh, boy.
You're with a badass is what you're thinking.
No, I'm thinking I'm effed. I'm trying to get somewhere, and now I'm going to be arrested. And then he's like, oh, we're just playing. I'm friends with your buddy, this guy, and he knew you were coming around this area, so he told me to pull you over. I was like, that's fun. Thanks a lot.
Oh, that's awesome.
Tell him I said hi.
Yeah.
And by hi, F off.
Yeah, nice.
I'm looking at a picture of the SUV, and it doesn't get very deep before it gets stuck.
Look at that.
It barely gets to the top of the tire.
It's got to be it has to be like the muddiness, though, right? And it just can't get any traction, like whatever, the muddiness of the bottom of the water it's in.
I feel like that's not a bet I would take.
No.
Like, what's the win in that situation? How much money are you going to get?
Yeah, I mean, I don't. You're off-roading, but it's not a. It's not a submersive vehicle. It's not an aquatic vehicle. It's supposed to be off-roading.
It'd be so awesome if you had an aquatic vehicle and no one knew. All of a sudden it's like a ride the duck.
Oh, I want a chitty chitty bang bang vehicle. Because that thing could go in water and land, and it could fly.
Oh.
Yeah, it was an awesome car.
I don't remember. I remember the movie existed, but I don't remember anything about the movie except for the chitty chitty bang bang.
Oh, I love
something.
Every time they were in trouble, the car would save them by either A, going into the water, or B, being able to drive off a cliff. It was awesome. Oh, that's a magical moment for me. We were talking about magical moments in our lives recently. That one I remember as a kid. I love that movie. All right, you got a new study. And this is something you're going to be happy about. And anybody that used to know me, because I'll tell you, in the early days of my career, people complained about me because I complained too much.
Okay.
Well, it turns out people who sit around and complain about work together, turns out it's actually good for their mental health. I was helping people, Steve.
But you have to be willing participants in this conversations. I think that's,
it says here, as long as you're in it. If you're in it to win it.
All right. So you're just kind of like just projecting onto people who don't want to hear your miserableness?
It is interesting. They say that if you complain, it actually makes you more productive.
Huh.
Talking about why you hate your job makes you better at your job. Isn't that interesting? Now, here's the thing. We live in the Pacific Northwest, where people are always about the silver lining. Mm-hmm. It's just, I know only because I've lived in other parts of the country. Nowhere have I lived have people been more silver lining, the glass is half full, than here in the Pacific Northwest. It really took me aback for a while because I came from the Northeast where it was the other way around.
Right.
Everybody made mountains out of molehills. Everybody here makes molehills out of mountains. And so nothing was ever that big of a deal, and everything was always going to end up okay. So you couldn't complain long around here. And I wonder if that's bad for mental health, if you actually do have to do more complaining. According to this study...
You hear that, kids? Bitch about your job today.
Make you better at your job.
What's the biggest complaint you have at your job?
The reason is
Call
simple.
on and tell us.
It's a simple reason, though.
Okay.
The researchers say it helps you hear that when your coworkers are bitching, it's not just you. It's nice to know they're as frustrated as you are, and you're not alone in your problems, and just sitting there in silence. Which I think a lot of people, if you do work a job where you don't associate with people a whole lot, maybe you do have that loneliness, thinking I'm the only one that's got a miserable situation at my job.
And it probably feels good to know that you have a commonality.
Yeah.
And I think that's like, was it Chris Rock or one of the comics that always said it doesn't matter what social status, economic, everybody can always find common ground in complaining about their significant other.
Yes.
Or relationship or whatever it is. And so work's kind of like that too, where it's like, well, we can all relate. We all have moments where we hate our job. No different than you have moments where you may be frustrated with your significant other and you talk to someone like, oh, me too. I have that same problem. You feel better about it.
And it's tough if it's somebody who's not in your job, because some people will go, you know what, my dream job would be what you have. Mm-hmm. And if you tell that to a person, they'll go like, I thought, man, I would love to work at a donut shop. And I remember saying that every time, growing up in the Boston area, home of Dunkin' Donuts, I kept saying, dude, you've got the best job ever. And he would look at me with the most miserable face saying,
how old were you when you were saying this?
I was like probably 18 to 22. I love Dunkin' Donuts, man.
Right, but that doesn't mean you want to work there.
Yeah, I did. I wanted to do it. Because, you can't.
When I was 15, I wanted to work at, McDonald's, well, first, and then also Blockbuster. Because then I could have unlimited access to rentals.
Yes.
But then when you become an adult, you realize that's not really that's like a means to an end.
No, not me, buddy. I wanted those donuts. I love donuts. And so, but I remember thinking that was the best job ever, but he was like, nah, dude, you don't want this job.
You get up early in the morning.
You'll hate donuts after doing this. You'll hate it. Hate it forever. Got another new survey for you, Steve. I don't believe this. I do not believe this at all.
Okay.
According to a new survey, 1 out of 3 people say they never pick their nose.
Oh, that's a lie.
Yeah.
Everybody's picked their nose at some point, right?
Yeah, and really 40% of women say they don't do it. Yeah. And Vicky, you know that's a lie?
Yeah. Everyone picks their nose. Anybody who says they don't is a dirty damn liar.
Yeah, just go on the road and drive around on the freeway.
I heard it's...
I always see people digging for gold, myself included.
I have heard and it's disgusting, along with, biting your nails and picking your nose, is that it's supposed to be the body's natural way of fighting germs and stuff if you actually ingest your nails and your nose
I'm not
activity.
ingesting any of that
I
stuff.
know. I'm just saying that's what, it's nature's way of us getting immune.
And it's propaganda trying to get people to eat their boogers.
It's not propaganda if it's true.
I don't care. I'm alive.
Yeah,
I don't eat any boogers.
You're alive, all right, buddy.
So is it okay also to flick your boogers at your coworkers?
I think that's almost like marking your territory.
Wait,
Okay.
where are you flicking?
Sometimes to the right.
Okay, good.
Don't flick to the right. Flick over there to Vicky's side. She's a smaller target. You won't even hit her. And
She's
then
a germaphobe. I'm trying to show respect.
Oh, thanks. That's really nice. Yeah, half of the people admit they pick their nose, but they only do it in private. And 5% don't care what society thinks. They pick theirs in public.
Yeah, I do it in the lactation station, the privacy room.
Yeah, that's a good place to go do a lot of things.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on in that privacy room, Steve. You sure you want to go in there?
You ever look over though? You see an attractive chick driving, and she's or for you maybe an attractive dude, and you look over and you're like, oh, look at her! Oh wow, she is digging. I mean, she might be touching her brain. Holy smokes!
Was that a turnoff though, or does that kind of make it better though?
It's not a turn on, Vicky.
Well, no, not a.
I mean,
now we're going down to a different path of what Vicky's
I'm not
into.
saying that picking your nose is what's gonna get you going, but the idea of yeah, she doesn't care. She's a dirty girl. She will do whatever.
Yeah, wow. I wouldn't go that. I wouldn't read into it that much. I'd just be like, she clearly has a booger on her nose. But it wouldn't be a deal breaker if I thought someone was attractive and I saw them pick their nose. I wouldn't stop pursuing them or wanting to date them or continue. Whatever.
What if she ate it?
I wouldn't be able to handle
that. Then you'd be done.
No mouthwash, no nothing?
Nothing.
I'm out. I would be 100% out. It could be Jennifer Lopez.
It's an interesting thing.
That's disgusting.
Because you meet a girl and you don't know what she's done in her life. You do not know where she's been. And that's the worst that and I don't think that's the worst thing she can put in her mouth if you're a guy meeting somebody for the first time.
Right. Like every other dude before me.
Exactly.
I know.
Yet, yeah, that doesn't bother us.
It's visually disturbing.
Yeah, I get that.
I like this. Some texters just said it's funny. I was picking my nose when you started talking about picking your nose. LOL. Oh, somebody says my fingers are too fat for my skinny nostrils, so I use Q-tips to pick my nose.
Ooh.
Wow, I have the reverse problem. I could get double 2 fingers on mine. Damn, dude.
Prove it.
Yes.
Prove it.
Texter didn't happen.
No, I'm not going to put 2 fingers up my nose just for your enjoyment.
Why'd you brag about it?
Yeah, because it was a long time ago. I have to stretch. Okay? I have to work out before I get back into it.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Travis Gagne, bankruptcy attorney. He's here right now and has agreed to answer more of your questions about bankruptcy. Here's a question from a listener. My house is currently in foreclosure. I've stopped making payments. What can I do to save my house?
If you're already in foreclosure behind on your mortgage, you can stop the foreclosure by filing a bankruptcy. There's different types of bankruptcy. Chapter 13 can help you catch up on your house payments if you're behind. It would mean that you'd have to start making your house payments again and catch up on the amount that you're behind over 5 years. You could also take off or strip off your second mortgage, which would help you to reduce your housing payment every month, especially once you're done with the plan and done catching up on your first mortgage. We could also try to buy you some time by filing a Chapter 13 case. Filing a Chapter 13 would definitely stop your foreclosure.
Thanks, Travis. If you have more questions about bankruptcy, you can reach out to Travis anytime at choosetherightchapter.com. That's choosetherightchapter.com. And thanks for listening.
I'm Erin Ryan, political commentator, comedy writer, and host of Crooked Media's Hysteria.
And I'm co-host Alyssa Mastromonaco, former White House Deputy Chief of Staff for President Obama.
Each week on Hysteria, we are joined by a team of hilariously opinionated ladies to discuss the headlines from the serious to the absurd.
We cover everything from reproductive rights to rom-coms and break down the political news of the week and cultural stories that affect women's lives.
New episodes of Hysteria drop every Thursday. Listen on Odyssey, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.